Okay, we are here on Kansas Wrestling Revolution, and I've got the Hall of Famer, Mr. Dan Adams. By the way, congratulations on this thing.
Thank you very much. What a pleasure. What a pleasure. What a night tonight. 30 years been in this business.
Yep.
I remember.
I remember you for when we used to do Jiggy Jag TV, and we would come out to Hoisington, Kansas, and you put on these shows that are just phenomenal.
Well, I couldn't do it alone. I had some of the greatest talent. Glad to be a part of it, and what an honor for your peers to honor me like this. You know, when I got the call, I was in Billings, Montana. There was 8,000 people in the crowd, could barely hear, monster trucks and wrestling we had. I got the call, and they asked me to come out and be presented with the Kansas Revolution Hall of Fame, and you know, I was like, I'm no Hall of Famer, and so. You know, I didn't initially accept, and it was just because I don't put myself out there. I've always been a behind-the-stage guy, even though I was a pro wrestler. I was trained in Wichita. Like I said, 30 years. I've refereed, I've managed, wrestled my idol, Bulldog Bob Brown. Got to wrestle him in Century 2.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I grew up, Great Bend kid, watching pro wrestling, the old Kansas City NWA. If it wasn't for that, it was my dream, and like I said out there in my speech, to the crowd, don't let someone tell you you can't do something, because it's up to you. Believe in your dreams and go after it, and that's exactly what I did, and here I am, Hall of Famer.
I'll tell you, you have put together and worked with some of the greats. Talk to me about some of the different people you've worked with.
Well, I got to give a lot of thanks to my career. Number one, for my trainers. I was trained in this business by the nephew of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. His name is Randy Rhodes, and the Zebra Kid. And I want to give a big shout out to Lord Littlebrook, miss you, brother. And I want to give another shout out to Mike McGurk. When I was an 18-year-old kid trying to promote, professional wrestling, I asked for a ring to be rented, and many, many talks with both of those individuals. They believed in me. They sent me their ring here in Kansas. And then I had, the Hangman Bobby Jaggers. I've got to give him a lot of props. Took me to the side, worked with me well. Big story, big part of my life in professional wrestling is the Bad Boys of Wrestling, as you know. Yep. I started working 25 years ago for the Bad Boys of Wrestling. Didn't start out as the booker. The booker was actually Chris Adams. Chris Adams went to work for WCW. Then the book went to another individual, and I remember being in Hobbs, New Mexico. We probably had 7,000
Hobbs, New Mexico.
Hobbs, New Mexico. 7,000 people out in the crowd.
Yeah.
Ed Beckley, why, of all people, he came to me and he says, Dan, he says, you've ran your own TV show before, right? I said, yeah, I have. He goes, you've been in this business a while. And he handed me the book. The names of all the guys, here you go. I want to give a big shout out to Ed Beckley. If there's anyone that's a big part of my career, that would be him. He gave me a break. Out of all those superstars, now you got to understand, in that building, we had Greg Valentine, Honky, Jake the Snake Roberts, the Bushwhackers, Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy, anybody who was anybody, one-man gang, they were all there, Dusty Wolf. And I was the guy that Ed gave the book to. I'm very appreciative of that. I still work for the man to this day. I've been blessed to go all over the country. Thank you, Gary Hart, for taking the time and showing me how to work this business, how to book. I've just learned so much. I can learn from a veteran as well as a new guy. I'm always about learning, and, wow, my peers think that I'm a Hall of Famer. I remember I was just in Eagle, Colorado here several months ago, and Greg Valentine and I, I've known Greg for a long time. We were traveling together, and he's showing me his Hall of Fame ring, and he goes, check this out, Dan. He's real proud of it. Yeah. And I was like, Greg, that's probably something I'll never, ever be able to do. 6 months later, I'm right here, probably the only town in Kansas I've never at least ran a show.
I don't think you've ever run a show or wrestled in Salina, Kansas.
Ever. They saved the best for last. They gave me the Hall of Fame. I've worked hard in this business. Now, I want everybody to understand I'm not done. I'm still very active. I am retired as far as wrestling or managing or refereeing. But at this time, I'm still actively booking. I'm very, very busy. I still work for Edckley. I still run my own shows.
You guys are still running monster trucks and doing all sorts of stuff.
You know, I've wrestled in front of 8,000 people. I've booked in front of 8,000 people. And tonight, right here, this stands up to be just as important as anything that's happened to me in my business. And I am so blessed to be a part of this Hall of Fame and to be recognized by my peers like I have. Tonight,
talk to me about the fact your family is a big part of it.
Well, you know, one thing in professional wrestling that we all say in our business, that without the fans, you know, there would be none of us. But the sacrifices that our families give us and allow us to get on the road and to do our craft and to do what we do, even when we're home, we're thinking wrestling, we're training, we're putting together shows, we're setting arenas up, you know, and I'm so blessed with a family, my kids, my wife, you know, my mother, you know, everybody in my family has backed me from day one. I remember being in high school and being asked, "What are you going to do when you get out of high school? What college are you going to go to?" "Well, I'm going to be a pro wrestler," and I was laughed out the building. Well, here I am, Hall of Fame.
Hall of Famer.
But there's so many people. I mean, I've trained wrestlers. You know, Lunatic Lenny here in Kansas is a big part of my life and a big part of my wrestling career. Eric Awesome was a heck of a tag team partner that I had. Two of my favorites that I ever trained was Body Count. They're long retired, but let me tell you something, they're probably two of the toughest individuals. You know, I train them guys not to know that at the end of the day I'm the one that's going to have the lumps on my head because I ended up competing against them. Very, very proud of them. There's lots of guys throughout the state of Kansas that I've actually had a part of, either helping them get in the business, helping them start their company. People call for advice. You know, I don't know everything. I still have my certain people that I call for advice. Jake the Snake Roberts, you know, he's taken a lot of time with me and showed me the right way. But, you know, I go back when I first started. You know, I remember being in the same locker room with Wahoo McDaniel, the Trooper, which you knew as the Patriot in WWE, you know. The list just goes on and on and on, and I'm just so honored to be even recognized by my peers as a Hall of Famer. But the fans in Kansas, in the Great Bend area where I'm from, are just amazing. Tonight here at the Kansas Wrestling Revolution just showed me that wrestling is in good hands right here tonight. I was very proud to be a part.
What did you think of this locker room and everything? Because you've been behind the scenes all afternoon.
Well, number one, I want to say I was treated with the utmost loyalty, and hospitality was great. You know, the guys are competitors, very much professional. Everybody was here to compete. They wanted to entertain. They wanted to do the very, very best they could do for the fans out there, and the fans were up. They enjoyed it tonight. I enjoyed it. It was nice to be able to sit back here and be a fan. You know, and that's where it all started, was being a fan.
When I see you in Hoisington, you're running around with your head cut off. It was probably nice just to hang out.
Very nice to hang out. During my ceremony, Dexter, you know, he comes out of the back and gives me a hug and says, very, very deserving. For even him, you know, he was 15 years old and he was doing TV for me in Wichita, Kansas. Yeah. So I just have ties all over the place, and I'm so, you know, so proud of everybody that I've had something to do with, even other organizations. You know, the guys are working hard. Yeah. They're trying to bring professional wrestling and the best, you know, form of professional wrestling that can be given here in Kansas. So there's a lot going on. I think right here, you know, I don't think the top has been seen yet here at the Kansas Wrestling Revolution, and I'm just glad to be a part of it all. I'm glad to be recognized. I'm so appreciative of everybody.
You're fantastic. Congratulations again, my friend.
I appreciate everything, and I appreciate being here. Thank you.
And thanks to KWR, thanks to the Hall of Famer, and thanks for watching Jiggy Jag TV. Bang! That's how the sausage is made, as they say.
There's so much I forgot that I wanted.